I'm expecting the War Beast pick. I was talking to Mickey before the games, and I mean Slap before the games, and he was like, why are they picking Ophelia over War Beast? And I think he actually considers War Beast to be a stronger hero. But wow, okay, no. Goes for that Parasite, a hero that he
What?
hasn't played yet at this event.
And we saw, I mean, Parasite, they ultimately won, but I don't think that if you had to point the finger at anybody who helped that win, Parasite's number 10 on the list. So, but this is a completely different team and a completely different draft. Up against Ophelia, she has the ability to infest those creeps. So not only taking away from her, giving to yourself, though, helping escapes. And this is a completely different draft we're seeing here.
Yep, this is
Wow. So that
Mad.
Thai influence.
I mean, I feel like Complexity, they like this Madman. I remember seeing them pick this a lot when they were expecting the enemy team to go for some kind of an aggressive lane. They'd end up second picking it here after the Ophelia, so just making a statement of we really like the Madman. And if you've looked at the Thai teams, like you mentioned, they do pick that Madman very, very early on.
Yeah, and often, right after the cleaver, we see them rush into the Staff of the Master, which brings up something that it might be worth noting here. If you do have the token onto Madman and you die as that Staff ulti is in effect, you will come back with your ultimate after reviving with the token as well. There's the potential to come back a total of 3 times.
Yeah, that's true.
And,
Parallax to follow it up. I haven't really been following Parallax's performance at this event, but I know before the event, Slap made a statement of Parallax is just not a good hero in competitive games. It's so hard for that hero to snowball. He's too easy to shut down, and he's too vulnerable to ganks. So,
Really?
yeah,
As
Slap
a
said
support
that.
hero? But
No, Parallax.
oh, Parallax, okay.
Yeah, he's like, he doesn't think Parallax is that good as a mid laner because it makes your lineups kind of lack control, and it's too easy to gank him. It's too easy to shut him down, and I honestly see where he's coming from. And if you look at this cold draft,
Did that come before or after they took a game off D-Dog using Parallax?
that came before. That came during the
Beforehand.
scrim days
Okay.
when they were preparing for the event. I remember there was actually quite a big argument there in their team where I believe Mickey and Hackstern were saying, we really like Parallax. We think he's a great hero. And Zap was like, no, I don't like him. I don't like drafting him. It puts me in this weird situation where I don't really have the amount of lockdown that I want.
Okay.
And if you take a glance over at Cole's lineup, I can really see what he's saying. Like,
Oh, well, as of right now, yeah. Unless you got some Skeleton Kings, and right now they have 0. They
yeah,
have
I mean,
a slow and a silence, which is an unreliable silence without without initiation. And I can definitely see that. They do have room to pick up something to complement that, but it does take up a whole slot. So I see where he's coming from as well.
yeah. And Sync, they're following down the old trend of, they want those double initiators. They have Pebbles and Behemoth picked up now with a Parasite. I personally don't really like pairing Parasite with Behemoth in a draft because once you have Parasite, you really want to have lanes where he can just rotate easily and set up plays when he can be active early game. I feel like what happened to what you got last game when he was forced to just stay in his jungle and farm is not the situation you want to be in. You want to have the option to either farm
Oh, there's so
or
many better
gank.
heroes
Yeah.
if you want to just farm.
Right. So I feel like Behemoth, it makes it so that there's one lane that Parasite can't go to. And it makes it much more obvious where Parasite is ganking because if Behemoth rotates mid, that's probably where Parasite's going to be too. So Magnus, the next pick for Complexity. I like this. This is very comfort for them. We didn't really talk about the bans, though. You want to take a quick look over that first?
Yeah. I mean, it looks like foremost they take out Puppet Master, Defiler, Oogie, Slap, Scrap, Monarch, Pestilence. So
Very Thai bans from Slap. Do you
yeah,
agree?
the Pestilence, that go hand in hand with the Parallax. At the same time, Magnus more of a comfort hero. I'm glad that they got that anyways. But yeah, I mean, they didn't pick a support yet, so Monarch's still there.
No, Monarch actually is banned by Slap.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. So Legion didn't pick a support yet, so
Oh, right,
banning
right,
the Monarch
right.
makes sense to me, and
Yeah.
the Scrap as well.
True. No, that Scrap combos very well with Ophelia. And Complexity, they did pick it quite a bit. And I know for a fact that Slap's teammates are afraid of that hero. They don't want to go up against the Scrap. They feel like it's a bit cheesy, and they're not super comfortable facing it.
Okay, one thing, another thing here. Fun fact of the day provided by Inkland. Behemoth has a 100% win rate here at the World Finals 2016.
Ooh, what a game to break that 100% win with, though, right?
Well, then.
If you're a Complexity fan.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if you're a gambling man, do you really bet on heads 4-5 times in a row if it's hit 4?
I mean, Han isn't... Do you feel like it's a gamble, though?
I don't know.
I don't feel like it's a gamble. There's so much like science behind why things work and
I'm
why
pretty
why things work
sure
and why they don't.
if this roll is over 50, then Sync's gonna win. Ooh, I don't
So
know.
this is a stomp.
If it's a gambling man,
All right, and Sync actually they're gonna pick up a Luna. This is the hero that I got my eyes open for her after I realized how good it is against Ophelia. Like I usually did I for the longest time I loved playing a Luna, but I just didn't think it was that good. But
yeah,
recently I've been noticing that that stun is just amazing against Ophelia. You can set up the easiest red stuns of your life.
yeah, guaranteed that you're gonna get some massive bounces on it.
Yeah, especially with that buff and
Oh,
Moon Queen. This is a
yeah.
land hero. I talk about land heroes, I think about Zephyr, I think about Moon Queen. And I mean, Stay Green. I think about Dark Lady as well, by the way. I need to mention that.
Wow. I mean,
Stay Green memories?
if they've been hiding this hero, they've hit it so well. I've watched so many Sing scrims, even just replaying scrims that they probably didn't even know I was watching. You know what I mean? I've never seen the Moon Queen.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's history on the hero at the World Finals like you're talking about, but it's been so long. I think if Sing pulls this off, holy crap, that's amazing. But if they somehow don't, then this draft is going to be questioned.
It's a very greedy Moon Queen pick, to be honest. I feel like if Complexity bring the game to them, it could be a struggle game for her. And Madman, I think, is actually a very good carry against that Moon Queen. She can just sit on him and out-damage her really, really hard. So if you're a Sync, you need to kind of be ahead here. You don't have any lockdown through the Shrunken Head. There's no bashers coming up on their heroes. To be honest, I like the way Complexity's draft is shaping up.
When did the Parasite come? Did it come after the Madman?
It was a Pebbles into... okay, so the entire draft was Ophelia into Pebbles, into Madman, into Parasite.
Okay. So a big part of shutting this Madman down is, I think, bursting him before he gets his ult off. I'm certain they're going to go for the Staff the Master in this game.
Really? I feel like I've seen Formless play Madman a lot in the past, and I haven't never seen him go for it.
Really? I don't know. I just feel like there was such a discussion about it earlier. That
Oh, yeah? I missed out on that in that case.
Well, the reasoning behind it is, so the Berserk, it does refresh your cooldowns with the Staff of the Master. When you come back, your cooldowns are supposed to be refreshed. But what's happening is after you die with the token, it comes back and it refreshes itself. So you can cast the ultimate again after dying. After you die, you get your 6 seconds of invulnerability. The token resurrects you. You can ult again, get killed, and now come back. So that's 4 times, essentially. So ultimately, that's not how it's intended, but it's
how
working
it's
as
right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we're at the LAN event. There's not going to be any hot fixes now.
Exactly.
And I highly doubt we're going to get a mid-game ban on the Madman. So it's been picked, and that possibility is definitely there.
Maybe
But
they
look
don't
at
go
this,
for the
though.
staff.
I want to mention this. Fuzzy Sloth is playing the Madman. And Formless is playing the Parallax.
Oh, so
Mid-Madman?
semi-carry Madman?
This is. I mean, I said this. They've done this in the past where they like to match up that Madman against any sort of aggressive lanes, and they might be expecting that Pebbles dual lane mid, and therefore they're putting the Madman there, making sure that he can keep farming throughout the entirety of that laning phase. Or if they're even like one step ahead, they're thinking, you know what? If a Madman can farm a bottle, then he can lane 1v2 absolutely perfectly. And you have a Moon Queen, which is kind of a weak laner. So normally what a lot of teams like to do is they start their support off into the short lane, supporting that Moon Queen, and then rotating her over mid around that 2-minute mark when you can pick up that rune.
Yeah, maybe camp out the rune.
Yeah,
we saw how big of importance rune control can be in this game, especially with a hero like Ophelia out there too. You know, this is what you got. I think he's going to try to make a bigger impact this game. He didn't have the biggest impact last game. Ophelia is one of those heroes. Well, if you don't do something early, you may not get anything done at all.
Yep, that much is definitely true. Sibby here in the middle lane, actually, still not moving towards his bottom lane. I'm a bit interested to see what he does. Normally, you would want to see him block off that creep wave, but is he maybe going to block off the mid wave for Mickey? No, looks like he's just going to place the ward and then head straight down towards bottom. He's going to block that hard camp with this counter ward.
Okay.
And oh no, it's going to spot out the ward. Oh, what a great placement.
Wow.
You know what's very, very interesting? I was watching MRR versus Myth, I believe.
Was that today?
Yeah, I don't know. I actually can't remember exactly which game it was, but I saw this exact same counter ward placement against this exact same ward. No, actually, you know who it was? It was Myth against Complexity.
Okay.
And they did this exact same thing against Complexity. So, they were watching the street play, and I was sitting right next to them. Definitely a conscious play.
up top here, already in a rough position as Oscar. He's going to take a lot of damage here. She does not skill into the Moonbeam yet, so she won't go down, or she won't be able to follow up. But this is going to be a scary lane for Oscar, no doubt, because Aluna can do so much harassing with the power throw. Steam Bath not going to help Magnus in this lane.
I mean, it could help him get away from that Lunar Beam, but look at how aggressively they're playing this top lane. This is exactly what you need to do to zone out that mag. I love what they're doing. Meanwhile, down bottom, Zib is trying to leech experience against this Glacius. He has boots, but he's really not found himself in a good position to creep drag so he can get the lane control.
Yeah.
I would like to see him reset back and try to use those fissures to regain lane control here instead of trying to contest it.
Serenity also brought a Ward of Revelation to the top lane, so skilling into that Steam Bath, he started to take some auto attacks and he had to juke into the trees.
Yeah, Oscar has a huge creep wave push up top, and this is very beneficial for him. It allows him to stay up top as Haxorn has to tank so many creeps. Slap's coming in from behind.
Wow, Slap does come
They're leaving the kill for Hax.
Bloodlust kill coming out for Haxor in here. Beautiful rotation. And that's how you make Parasite effective. Oscar has no lane, has no ward in the jungle here.
No, he's actually placed it all the way here to the side to spot out potential rotations from Slap through the river and through the hard camp. But Slap, I think, rotated from above.
Like a stealth hunter or something.
I think actually just rotate. Actually, I don't know. I don't know how he got there without Oscar noticing.
Yeah, maybe just, it's such an aggressive lane there. You don't always, you try to keep an eye on the minimap, but you can't get distracted for a split second.
Yeah, and nobody on his team noticing either to call it out for him.
Yeah.
Taking a look at the middle lane matchup, it's very even so far. Both sides are kind of farming. Fuzzy's slightly behind, but it's really an insignificant creep kill difference in the middle lane. Behemoth has abandoned the bottom lane now as well. He's rotating around, trying to set up some plays. Looks like he's going to go all the way top. They should get a feeling, hopefully, that there's a ward here.
Yeah, it is a long trip, but he did get early striders, so sometimes if you realize you're not getting any experience, it's definitely worth it to just look around, maybe find something, scare the other player's suicide from getting anything. But he will be spotted out like this by this ward, as you said.
Yeah, smart play from Oscar here, going to block that hard camp from the low ground, and by positioning himself right next to that hard camp. So Slap only now rotating on one hard camp, and it's quite significant if you're a Parasite.
Yeah.
Luckily for him, though, he does actually find a Wild Hunter, which is going to enable him to farm these double stacks, at least one of them, if he moves over right away.
If you're Complexity, who are you prioritizing your farm on right now? Clearly, Formless still having the assistance of Glacius. Do you keep her down here?
So right now, both teams are trying to milk out the map. They're trying to get as much resources as possible out of the map. You see Aluna's just pulling top. She's trying to get as much golden experience as she can. Moon Queen as well, just getting a solo lane because of that. Pebble's trying to farm mid. Neither off lane feels comfortable laning against the other. So they're just posted here behind their mid laner.
Oh, Behemoth comes in with a Fisher Stomp, but Magnus was here to join the party. So Pebbles, Stalagmites. Oh my god, the massive toss!
Oh
he can't go the Fisher Stun, keeping him in pub the stock. Almost disjoining that last tower attack with the barrel roll. But huge plays by Mickey. Always thinking outside of the box with the toss. The action's not over yet as Behemoth gets a Fisher block off to save his life there. But wow, what a play by Mickey.
Have you ever seen anything similar to that? That was the first time I've ever seen a toss like that. He tossed him over the fissure so that he had no option but to run into the tower. And then Slap cutting in from the other side with the dust, dropping his leech, securing that kill. Not sure if Fuzzysoft messed up the timing on the barrel, but it looks like the range creep actually hit him afterwards and secured the kill.
Yeah. I don't know. It was definitely a nice effort to get away.
Yep, up top, Haxorn sieging this tower on his Moon Queen, dealing some good tower damage with that double wave.
Too, because there's no rotation. Behemoth and Aluna come here. They drop her Revelward down to scare crap out of Madman. And they want to shut down Fuzzy Sloth for sure here.
I feel like it's not so much about shutting him down as it is just like there's nowhere else to be on the map really. Like Aluna wants to be mid to make sure that Pebbles doesn't die, and Behemoth was also mid because he knew that Oscar was mid and he couldn't be bottom. And the funny thing is both teams are playing so similarly in this situation. Now you see the Parallax is pushing out the bottom lane and trying to get some tower siege damage, and then you see Zibber rotate back up to his lane. Very similar decisions being made by both sides right now.
So Moon Queen, interestingly, she does skill into the Moon Finale at level 6.
Oh, I think that's a standard build.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I guess so. it was just interesting that, he prioritized Lunar Glow before the Moonbeam, so I didn't know if he was just going for, like, strict farming.
Oh, right. So
route,
I
but
do believe at level 1, the thing is, they nerfed the Moonbeam, so it's very high mana cost. It costs 120 mana at all levels, and you only have the mana for 3 of them, I think, at level 1, or maybe even 2, and then you need to regenerate for the 3rd one. So at level 1, the Moonbeam doesn't really do that much anymore.
It's just not worth the cast.
No. Back in the day when Stay Green used to play it, it had a way lower mana cost.
Ooh, another huge Fissure stun down here. Blocking Ophelia from taking that haste rune. Oh, in the middle lane. Pebble's going to get set off on a Madman. They're going to toss him off the stock. And the barrel roll to follow up on the Parasite. Now the Magma's Lava Surge doing a lot of damage. Can Parasite go down? Yes, he will. Assistance from Glacius here. And a nice rotation by Love. Now what you got brings the Skeleton King over as well.
Yeah, Mick is trying to bait them to dive in, but they're not going to fall for it. Nice barrel there, but still no range for Oscar to land that stun to fall. Just try to get that kill, but Complexity, they're happy with the way that this game's going so far. But you have to keep that Moon Queen presence in mind. This is one of the scariest heroes to go up against with farm.
Yeah, Hackman's farming really fast too. 400 gold per minute after getting that Bloodlust kill.
And he's getting a tower on top of it now, it looks like. Can Oscar get this denied? This is a lot of gold that he could get.
Moon Queen staying far enough away.
Oh, what a smart play from Haxer. And recognizing that unless he hits the tower, Oscar has no way of denying it. And he lets that catapult get the tower kill for his team as well. So, well played by Haxer, not greedy for the tower kill on himself.
Very nice.
Down bottom?
Yeah, a very similar thing. A struggling Suicide player up against the solo carry here. Unfortunately, I don't think Parallax can compete with the speed of Moon Queen. But if he clears this wave here, this tower might go down with the next push.
Yeah, so game kind of slowed down. Slap actually often go for these Striders and not phase moves. What do you think about that? Do you like that decision?
I have a very hard time understanding the best way to play a Parasite. I guess I don't have an opinion on it. I don't see Striders very often on the hero, so I'm leaning towards the more popular opinion that it's probably not the best way to go.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, I guess. He's just prioritizing that puzzle box. And look how safely Mick is playing that middle lane. He's just constantly pushing the wave out. Now going to go grab that top rune. Both teams are just playing very, very safe. And Complexity has a bit of a gold... I mean, Sync has a bit of a gold lead, but this is really just that top tower. So as soon as Formless manages to take this bottom tower out, they should be fairly even.
Nice job here by Legion, making sure the rune... It's not the greatest rune for a Madman to pick up, but it does fill his bottle and save him from returning back to the base.
They're rotating down bottom now with all 5 heroes. Going to go for this tier 1 tower push. I wonder what Slap is going to do. Is he going to rotate up top, trying to help Haxer, and he's going to stay in the jungle and farm? Are they going to post the defense down bottom, or are they just going to go for the split push?
I don't think they defend this, honestly, but they do. So, okay,
Yeah.
they post up like they're going to.
Interesting positioning. Mick is trying to loop in here from
level
behind.
6. I don't know. It could turn out bad.
TP out from Madman, though. They can see this on that middle lane tower. So they're aware that Madman cannot be bottom anymore. But it looks like Complexity's read the play. They've read that Mick is rotated down here. And they know that Sync are trying to defend. And they're just going to fall back and start farming.
Smart play, and that kind of hinders Sync a little bit now.
Oh, Formless. He's very far up. Is he going to potentially get caught here by Mickey? He's hatcheting his way through. Is he going to be able to catch him?
He walks right into the Stalagmite and the follow-up toss out of Behemoth. But the Ophelia heal, and out of nowhere, they clean up there.
Man, these tosses from Mickey have been spot on. You know what? You're in an elimination match, Mickey on Pebbles, and he's playing like this. As a Sync fan myself, I have to say this is feeling good.
Yeah, very unique skills being used here. And again, another toss back onto his own. Oh, the Minotaur that was stolen from Ophelia. So
yeah, and now Sync are in a very good position to take out this tier 1 middle lane tower. And it's a very, very important tower. Are they going to go for the push? It looks like they're not. They're actually opting to just fall back. Ophelia, no heal. They know that she's lacking a minion, but still not confident to go for that push.
Mickey will pick up the invisibility rune, though, and that could be very bad news for almost anybody on this Legion team. You think he might go looking for the Parallax again? Because
I would not be surprised if he chooses to do so. So now,
Strider Parallax, I mean.
Yeah, looking at Zibbe's movement, it looks like that bottom lane is where they want to make that play. Zibbe's rotating
he did
around.
walk right by Love's Revelation Ward, though.
Oh, and the pause. The pause from Complexity, this must be a strategic pause after spotting out that he is walking
They
across
might be able
the,
to bait this, huh?
yeah, so they're probably discussing how they want to play that. What do they want to do? Do they want to set up a bait? Do they want to just fall back? What do you think the right play here is if you're Complexity?
I mean, it's very intense because yes, you know you can bait out the fact that Mickey's going to come, but you'd have to bank on can Parallax survive the initial initiation because you don't know when Mickey's going to strike unless you quickly bring another Rev Ward down here. I honestly think you just play it safe. I don't think you go overboard.
Yeah, all right. So,
Love DC'd.
yeah, I don't know if I
Clearly
believe that
didn't
personally.
DC. So
I don't know if I believe that, but
yeah, I mean that's got to be the worst excuse for a strat pause ever.
I agree with
But
you.
Mickey doesn't buy it either. Look at, he's gonna make his way back over into the middle lane here.
Yeah.
I mean that's impressive. Why? How do you just suddenly just? You know that that's a strat
Oh,
pause.
no.
Madman. He already has steam boots and the Aluna
the
though,
red
the power
snipe!
throw.
A short distance red snipe, but still very good job by coL positioning himself in a way so that he could get that follow-up on the combination. I was just going to say, I don't think Mickey has enough damage for this kill.
Now with the steam boots on Madman, but yeah, did the math with the Luna's power throw.
Yeah, and now Sync, they were sitting at a 4,000 gold lead and 4,000 experience lead at even towers. So whatever's happened in the last few minutes, it's definitely been favoring them.
I'm afraid for Complexity right now. That right there, what we just saw, I feel like that's what's going to happen soon. You're going to see Pebbles with the portal key in less than 1 minute, and you're going to see those red power throws flying up in perfect timing, working together to clear out anybody on the map. As we say this, the barrel roll, but look at Behemoth, this perfect positioning, ready to protect Mickey here. Make sure that he gets that portal key. It's on the way. And
okay.
That's going to buy space for Behemoth to farm. Like,
yeah.
This looks like Sync's found their groove again.
But that fissure, though, that was perfect. He just barely split off those Ophelia creeps from the Madman that had committed. I even think...
Yeah, Parallax down here. Sorry to cut you off, but go on.
No worries. That fissure was absolutely perfectly placed. And when you notice players, they're playing out like up to their skill, kind of, or like they're making plays that are impressive, it normally means they're finding themselves in a position of comfort. They have time to think, they're thinking clearly, and I like where this is going. Not gonna lie. Game 3.
Here comes the Mickey portal key. Will Aluna red power throw from the base, and she's going for steam boots here.
Hello.
Rip Glacius.
Goodbye. Love gonna donate 175 gold to the Mickey Foundation as he begins his serial killer streak.
Yeah, and this is going to continue here, and like that's not even the greatest target, but the hero like Pebbles, you're already reset. You bottle sip twice, switch to in before you initiate, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, and it's gonna, for me, you know, this Moon Queen, she's farming very, very quickly. She's starting to stack those Ancients, and once she has that Firebrand, I expect her to start rotating down there and start taking out those triple stacked Ancients. And that's when I think Zibby is gonna get that top lane to start farming.
What triple stack Ancients?
Oh, what a play by Love.
Yep.
Blocking that camp out with a Revelation Ward.
And I think that's the second time they've tried to pull, in fact, because Hexerin has the Vagabond over here. I think they definitely noticed that, or didn't notice that it never got doubled, so now...
Judging by their play, I don't think they know. They probably would have counter-warded that if they were aware that the camp wasn't stacking. This could be huge.
Yeah, that's a mighty chunk of change that Haxorn's pretty much ready to take now.
Yeah, and I mean, especially if Haxorn TP's down bottom to farm that camp out and then notices that, you know what, it's just a single stack. It's a very big deal. There's actually a double stack here from, Complexity. No, Complexity on the Ancients. And I like to talk about this. When the game is passive like this and there's not really a lot of kills happening.
He just tried again to stack the camp with the Vagabond
And
leader.
look at that. He's TP'd down here and there's not a triple stack Ancients. This is a big chunk of gold, like you said, that he is not getting. Looks like he's just going to push out that bottom lane, though, and that's actually quite a bit of farm pushing into him, so maybe not the worst after all. As Zibby rotates up top, he's going to start farming for his Blink. And I believe once they have that Blink on Behemoth, Moon Queen probably going to go for the Shrunken Head now. They should be feeling fairly confident with forcing a fight.
Yeah, obviously the Shrunken Head, the main source of damage at this point is Parallax. Second to that would be Madman, but at this point in the game, Madman is all magic damage as well, so you're right, get that Shrunken Head, and you are ready to take team fights.
Yeah, and Haxorn's playing very, very scared bottom. They're expecting Complexity to be setting up a play here, it looks like. But in reality, it looked maybe Zib is the target.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty passive play for when you're running Ophelia. I would definitely expect more than just a single
Look at
tier
this
1 to
top,
be
though.
down at this point.
Look at this top lane, though. They both use that Veiled Rot to pass by that ward, and Zibe has no idea. Slap is just rotating away from here now as well.
Uh-oh, Behemoth thought
Can he sense
maybe I
this
get a
out?
second here. The Lava's just coming in. They use the ultimate immediately, dropping the Fulcrum right on top of Behemoth, and they further delay that portal key. But Slap coming in with the Skeleton King, doing what he can. Pebbles comes in with the portal key, gets silenced. He won't be able to get the Slimites. The sacrificial Lava Surge coming up by Magnus definitely cost him his life.
Oh!
Ophelia, no! For the time being, he's going to live. The Puzzle Box minions going to be infested here in that move speed, though. Haxorn will clean it up. A nice attempt by Oscar there, but maybe he didn't need the Lava Surge there now they think with the Ophelia heal.
Yeah, maybe not, but at the end of the day, dying to save Parallax is definitely worth it for him. He's only sitting at 115 gold per minute, whereas Parallax is at 418.
Yeah,
so
Parallax
that's
has an icon too, so.
Yeah, that's a significant gold bounty difference that they would be giving away to Sync. So I'm sure they're still happy with how that turned out.
Pretty impressive stuff. Behemoth will once again come up to the top lane here. I mean, how many times do you think they'll try to continue punishing Behemoth? I feel like that's the right decision right now. As Mickey's already got the portal key, you don't want another one to deal with.
So I think the problem here for Complexity is if they try to go for that Behemoth up on the top lane, because that tier 1 tower is still alive, it's going to be very hard for them to get a kill on him without getting counter killed. So if they want to go for a gank on him, they probably need to bring almost their entire team
Just
so that they can fight the counter gankers.
Yeah. All right, good point. Yeah, Sync is very, very quick with the reaction on the ports. And we're not seeing Mickey as aggressive as I thought. I thought we saw that portal key. Boom. He would just non-stop be unrelentless looking for kills with that Aluna Snipe, but we haven't seen it.
So the reasoning for that is they want that Moon Queen to get a shrunken head. And right now they know that they're ahead. They know that they're farming more than the opponent, like the other team. So all he really needs to do is try to fog as much as possible, push out the waves like he is, and make sure that he's keeping up and farm whilst applying that passive pressure. But look at this, up top again. But this time Zib is going to sense it out. He feels like something's wrong.
Does. Oscar putting that word of sight behind the tower to set things up a bit. The Veil Rod's still active on Parallax, so they've got another 5 or 6 seconds here. Make that 2 or 3. But look at Moon Queen. Now she cleans up the triple stack Ancients, and just like that, it's closer to the 500 gold per minute mark. You know, Parallax is such a fast farm hero, and I've seen like the Ties really excel on it. I've not seen like a hero like Formless really. You know, do you think is this an okay GPM for him? Because I feel like he could be doing better.
I think it's hard for them right now. You know that Pebbles has a Blink Dagger, and every time they don't see him, they need to be careful on the map. So if you've been looking at how they've been farming on the map and where they're positioning themselves, it's always very, very careful because they're not able to spot out that Pebbles. And I just think
Sync slightly differential between Hax and Formless here.
Right. So Haxorn's just farming everything that he wants to. As soon as he sees a camp, he goes there and farms it because he knows.
This will help though.
Yeah, this is a huge tower kill. Now they're actually evened up on towers again, as Sync is going to go for that bottom tower. They know where Mickey is. Now they're comfortable moving up towards top. Zibi should be careful. He should know what's happening here.
That ward placed by Oscar, though, is going to... They're going to know exactly where Behemoth goes. Obviously, they can't dive past the tower.
Did Behemoth just buy his Blink Dagger? Oh, yeah, it's on the courier. Ooh. I think it has to be that portal key flying out. And though this is a great ward for Complexity, I don't think they know that he has it. And this could be a huge game winner. And look, it's Lap. He's going to go look for that ward. He knows it's there. Oh my god. Great heads-up play. Veiled Rock going to be popped by Zibe. Chasing down the lane, but after that ward dies, there's just no way Complexity is going to
stay around. Yeah. Do you think it would have been smarter to just not counter it? I mean, just walk right by? I don't know.
It's hard to say. But obviously, like, they're still fine with this.
Right.
They force Complexity away from that tower. They get rid of that vision.
Ooh, Pebble's going to jump in onto Magnus, stun him through the... They get another big toss. Magnus going to get healed by the field. They use the instant shockwave. They want a quick one and done, but Formless isn't ready yet. He puts out the Ionic shift onto Pebbles. No, he doesn't pursue, so ultimately they just lose the Magnus here. Not the biggest deal, as he wasn't that close to the portal key, but it's a great target for Sync to get a pick on.
Yeah, and honestly, any pick right now enables Moon Queen to farm just for a little bit longer, and look at what item she's going to buy. Similar to the last game, as soon as Mageman got that Firebrand Shrunken Head on top of his farming item, which in that case was the Rim Cleaver, this time the Whispering Helm, these carries, these single core hard carries get so scary. And I'm just looking over at the Legion side. I said Madman would be a great hero because he can just sit on the Moon Queen. But with such a difference in items, he's just not going to be able to do it. He's still building for his Rune Cleaver. I think he might have it finished now. Yeah, it looks like he just got it finished, but he needs that Basher and needs that Shrunken Head to be able to really just man up on the Moon Queen. So if he's able to farm that up, Complexity definitely can make a similar comeback to the last game. I like to see Sync this time play it smarter, realize that, you know, last time we didn't abuse our lead, we didn't force it on Complexity, and they came back. And this time around, I hope they just group up now, force that fight, use that Moon Queen to put in the front line to either get a Conquer here or force a tier 2 push.
Yeah, I mean, Moon Queen is one of those heroes that is impactful in early game. That ultimate can like devastate a team fight if you're in the right position. So we'll have to see what Sync's next move is here.
Obviously yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was
That's so
gonna
obvious.
I was gonna say, obviously Behemoth's gonna wait for his ultimate to come back up off cooldown, and Slap's gonna wait for his Puzzle Box 3 recipe here. But it looks like they're finishing up almost all the core items. Mickey's 1,300 gold off the Shrunken Head, but that's pretty much the last one of them.
Dang it! Was that the Puzzle Box 3 finished on 2's left?
I do believe it was.
Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely in a Puzzle Box 3 right now. He's running around trying to find some wards, rotating up towards top. Oscar's going to TP out. He still doesn't have his Blink. Oh, and this TP gets cancelled by Zibe.
Yes. Zibe will chase him down here, pounding the heads, and of course, Pebbles instantly TPing top as soon as Zibe spotted him out. Great teamwork here by Sync Esports once again. So playing it calm, but yeah, Mickey's 3-0-5 now. 400 GPM on a Pebbles.
Yeah, and now TP to the bottom lane from Zibe. He's still not level 11, but if Complexity were to try to split push this tower as Sync is pushing top, he is already ready there, setting up to defend.
This has to be a staff on the Parallax. He's got to know there's going to be Shrunken Heads left and right on this team. No? I mean...
Yeah, I definitely think so. He already has those 2 cards, and I've seen Formless actually really values it very highly when he plays Parallax. So
it's interesting because the Thai teams, they really don't care for the ultimate much on Parallax, but...
Interesting. I mean, there's big differences between the regions. But important to note, Sync aren't getting more ahead right now. Their gold lead has been pretty much the same throughout the last couple of minutes. And if a gold lead isn't increasing over time, that actually means that you're slightly falling behind because heroes scale better with their first items at bottom lane.
Dropping out a little Behemoth was waiting in blind the whole time. Comes out with a shockwave. Parallax is going to stay alive for a long time. Here comes the man up by Formless, but yeah, Slap going to come in here. Parallax won't be able to survive the 3-man attack there.
Yeah, the double damage rune there on Formless, enabling him to secure the kill on Zibe, but what a great play from Zibe. This is going to allow them to go for Kongor. Complexity, though, already positioned to get that tier 1 top tower.
So not worth, in my opinion. I mean, you bait out the Behemoth ultimate, but...
So the thing is, and that play was all triggered by... earlier Sync was pushing up in the top lane, and Behemoth was showing up there before he TP down bottom. And Aluna had been farming bottom this entire time. Behemoth had show top, and Aluna was still farming that bottom lane. So I'm pretty sure Formless is like, alright, this guy's probably alone. Veiled rotted all his way into that bottom lane and then went for that kill. But Zibe just having the presence of mind to already be there.
Yeah, you got a whole empty jungle, though, to be farming if you're Parallax. I feel like Formless needs to stick to his guns. This is not the amount of farm. You need more than this if you're going to carry your team with a Parallax.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even compare him to the Moon Queen right now. The Moon Queen is just about to finish that Geometer's Bane. And if she gets a wing bow, similar to in the Mage Wing game, I just don't see what Complexity is going to do. The Madman still needs a Basher and a BKB to even be able to sit on that Moon Queen. But with a wing bow, he needs a Savage Mace on top of it. Very similar story to the last game from my point of view. It's that one hard carry against the multi-core from the other team. Yeah. But this time around, that hard carry is ahead.
Oh yeah, and I mean, Legion team hasn't even taken out any of the tier 2s yet. I just feel like this is the second game in a row where up top lane, no, Magnus going to get jumped. This is the second game in a row. Ophelia was picked very high up. It was their first hero. Show me why. Why is Ophelia banned in every game? This is not why. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think if you want to start looking back at what Complexity maybe should have done differently, the Madman in the middle lane instead of the Parallax, I don't really know if that paid off in their favor. I feel like getting that farm on Formless on the Madman would have been a better decision.
Yeah. Maybe somehow Fuzzy's going to transition into the carry for Legion side.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's the only hope against the Moon Queen, like you said.
I mean, that's their idea, at least in this draft, is that the Madman is going to transition into that carry position. He's fairly close to his Shrunken Head recipe, which is the last piece that he needs to complete
But
that
why
item.
not just swap the roles then? I guess Fuzzy doesn't like Parallax very much.
I'm not sure.
Because we know Formless loves Batman.
Yeah. So middle lane now, they have that token. Gonna push for the tier 2.
Yeah, they're going to put the pressure on here. What you got's Minotaur may not be long for this world. He's able to pull it back here. He's got a nice set of creeps. Like, he's had this nice little arsenal, but, you know, they're cannon fodder for Moon Queen, who will just clear out these waves, bounce after bounce. Now level 17.
Yeah.
They've waited a long time, and this whole time Moon Queen's becoming more and more scary.
Yeah, and taking a look at the word game, this is something that I love talking about and I think is often forgotten. If you check at the positioning of these wards, you can tell a lot about the mentality of what the team wants to do. Complexity, they're placing these very, very deep lane wards, which usually indicate that you want to try to split push. You want to see when the enemy team rotates back to the next lane to start pushing. You want to know the team's rotations. You want to know which lane they're in. And here we go, the third lane ward placed by Oscar. So this is definitely a call from the call to like, all right, we don't want to fight into the Sync team. We want to try to avoid them and try to get as much farm as we can. I'm curious to see if Sync should be able to recognize this as what Complexity wants to do, and hopefully Cormac can get rid of a couple of those wards.
I feel like, though, if they try to pull that against Sync, Sync's just going to split push on their own. They'll be fine with that. I mean, Moon Queen's going to be assaulting this tower much quicker than Complexity ever could.
Yeah. Zibit was Slap was sitting up in the top lane. They're waiting for Magnus to make an appearance, but he ended up not showing up, and Slap TP's back. And I really think if Moon Queen's able to farm that Wingbow, it's going to be very, very difficult. And Sync, they're just building up to this critical mass on their Moon Queen. I just don't see how they're going to kill her.
Sync, this is going to be the final outer tower, and this is the token. About a minute 20. I don't see why you don't keep pushing here. At least to force some TPs and then decide if you really want to commit to it or not. But,
no, they're definitely going to commit to this, I believe. They want to use this token. Make it even up there hitting the tower.
Magnus did just hit level 11. He has the portal key. So we might see him. He doesn't have a Veiled Rod, though.
Oh my god, what a stun!
It's going to catch all three heroes. They follow with the Behemoth Fisher on top of the Illuna Power Throw. Parasite jumping in the background. Ophelia gets Storm Spirited, though, preventing that. In the background, the Moon Finale still not used.
Yeah, actually, Fuzzy Sloth ended up picking up the Behemoth in the backline, and now Magnus going to jump back in. They're team wiping Sync. Moon Queen's going to come back up, but she doesn't really have much firepower left, and she's being locked down.
Ophelia minions soaking up all of those moonbeams, and Legion team comes out on top here. And look at Formless now. Instantly right back into this game here. He did use a buyback.
Yeah, what looked like an amazing fight from Sync, starting off with a triple stun from Mickey. The Behemoth, though, unable to follow up. I believe Fuzzy Sloth came in from behind. Hopefully we can get a replay of that fight, but Fuzzy from behind killing out that Illuna, killing off that Behemoth. That Shrunken Head was picked up just in time to make that play happen. Huge plays from Fuzzy in that fight.
Wow. Yeah, I think we got a little bit crazy there. Definitely looking forward to the replay at the end of the game. So, but yeah, I mean, take a look at Behemoth now, grabbing the Neophytes book, maybe a tablet.
Yeah, but you know, if you're Sync Esports right now, that must be a huge shift in their mentality. They must be thinking, oh my god, we're probably behind now. Are we gonna, and like, what do they do? I feel like, from what I've seen before from Sync, at least during this event, whenever they lose that one crucial team fight, they tend to clamp up a little bit, and they lose a lot of confidence.
Happens to a lot of teams, and yeah, but I mean, at the same time, hopefully not, because I really feel like it ultimately came down to Moon Queen's positioning there. I didn't see her shining like we expected her to.
So I think the problem in that fight was that, you know, Moon Queen, she really needs that backline to back her up. And as Mickey blinked in there, he expected the follow-up from the Behemoth. But Fuzzy Sloth canceling that out.
Cancel the TP from Behemoth?
Yeah, exactly. So making sure that he can't blink in. So the damage wasn't there. Those three heroes did not end up dying. And when you don't kill off on initiation, you're in a terrible position to get turned around on. Especially in the base when buybacks are available.
Yeah, I mean, a level 2 Shockwave. There's no reason all three of those heroes that were stunned by Pebbles wouldn't have just completely died. They at least forced out more buybacks. Team fight might have been the same, but it would have been more costly.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Looks like Sync, though, they're not too afraid. Just going to farm up this Wingbow on Haxorn, probably. He's not too far off. I believe it's 1,200 gold for that. So, definitely in the works here.
We we see the split pushing happening here. They kind of just take out a little bit top. Magnus will be coming through here. What do you think's in the works for him? A Storm Spirit, maybe?
For the Magnus, most definitely.
Yeah.
Either that or a Tablet of Demand, but knowing Complexity, probably a Storm Spirit. They love that item.
It's a great item, honestly, especially with a hero like Parallax. If you can Storm Spirit him a second, his cooldowns regen, he might have time for an Ionic Dash or something. I like it there, but how about Moon Queen? I never see the hero anymore, so I can't
It
imagine
has to be
where we're
Wingbow.
going here.
It has to be Wingbow. There's no other item that she could possibly pick up in this situation. And I hope Fuzzy Sloth goes for
Even
that.
against the Parallax? I guess, okay, well, she will be shrunkened up. The additional range could definitely be useful.
And it's, you know, when you're sieging that high ground with the illusions, it does so much with that bonus agility. So I definitely hope she goes for that. I don't see any reason for her to go any other item. It buffs her it amplifies her damage so much, and it works so well with that Lunar Glow. So I'd be very surprised if she picked up anything else.
Yep, so got that going here, and things have slowed down quite a bit.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit of strategy here. I mean, if you're Sync Esports, I feel like you wait for that item on Moon Queen, but you can't really hit that high ground the same way you've been doing earlier. As here we go, the Wingbow is purchased. I mean, they can't really go for that high ground push anymore. They don't have that token of life. They kind of need to find some pickoffs. I would like to see the Pebbles and Behemoth start roaming around together, trying to make something happen as they have Hackstorm pushing out lanes. At this point in the game, you don't really want to be showing a lot of heroes. You want to enable your team to find pickoffs in that way.
Yeah, that could definitely be a point that they want to make. They don't have very aggressive boards out right now to assist in such a decision. But, I mean, the only alternative, maybe wait Kongor is actually up in another 2 minutes. So, I mean, they definitely have a couple of different things they can pull off.
Yeah, and Serenia now picking up that Bound Eye, making a statement of, I want to make Complexity's map black. So he needs to realize what kind of wording they're going for.
Decent
What is the
aggressive
mentality?
board there. Yeah, I mean, you said it. The warding tells you exactly what the team wants to do. Well, they're definitely going to be farming the jungle. If Behemoth wants to get a pick off, what better spot? Well, Behemoth Pebbles.
Yeah, and Behemoth and Pebbles are actually very split up right now. Zib is sitting in the middle lane waiting to farm out that wave. I really don't like this. I feel like Sync right now, they're falling into like a let's just farm.
Well, this is what you said happens. They lose a team fight, and they clam up. And, you know, they second-guess themselves, not realizing that they still have almost a 10,000 gold lead.
I mean, at this point, the 10,000 gold lead is very insignificant. If you look at the total gold gain by both teams, it's basically the difference of, like, an item on one
But
hero.
it's also, there's not many shrunken heads on the Legion side yet, and eventually they will be. There's only one. Right now, they have a good shot at killing Parallax. No?
No, it's a good point, definitely. Like, the Behemoth Shockwave becomes significantly less relevant as they get their Shrunken Heads picked up. But look at this. They're all standing in Kongor. I do believe he's just about to spawn. They probably timed it. So, and I'm sure Complexity knows, too. They must be aware of this.
Yeah, well, you see this little cool thing tells you when that's going to respawn.
Yeah.
They,
So yeah, Complexity actually, they're pretty afraid. Now they're going to see that Kongor pop up, hopefully. Realize that, yeah, look at this. Bonus instantly just walks up into that top lane as soon as he sees the Kongor icon pop up. And he feels fine farming. I'm pretty sure they know that there's no sync here, but they're just going to play it smart, keep Oscar behind them just in case. Token of Life picked up on Moon Queen.
all right, so we may have a little bit of a round 2 here, as like really the only thing that prevented them was the brilliant play by Fuzzy. So team fighting here once again.
This time around, though, they do have that Bound Eye on Luna. Actually, they're going to give it over to the Pebbles. So, want to make sure that Mickey doesn't get picked off.
Oh,
It doesn't get
trade it back
initiated
and
on,
forth.
sorry.
Now goes to Parasite.
Yeah, they're passing that.
Hot potato.
Yeah, exactly.
But they will give McKay. What are they just
So
trading
this
items left and right?
This base siege is very important for them to play correctly. Just keep that Moon Queen up in front, just like this. Have Slap stand to the slide and deal damage.
Just lava surge here.
The Glyph of Fortification also going to be used. I love how Sync are positioning. They should split up their initiators so they can't get caught. Oh my god, that damage.
Moon Queen's going to go down here with Staff the Master. It's still going to hurt her through the Shrunken Head. can see it just slowly draining. Mickey uses his
In the
Shrunken Head
background,
too.
though.
Yeah, they jump down. Madman's going to get caught out, but he has a Staff Master too. He's going to be going in on Pebbles and now switching his attention to Moon Queen. Oh, there's a nice Behemoth Shockwave on the Parallax and the Ophelia creeps, but the Moon Finale doing a little bit, but not enough to finish it. Parallax getting Storm Spirited here, keeping himself alive. Pebbles will come in to finish him off. Sync's going to win this team fight here. Ophelia's forced to retreat back, and they get the barracks to cost them a lot, but
Ultimately, Sync definitely coming out on top in this team fight. Pebbles now, he has some HP. They could potentially go for that backdoor on that middle lane tower, but they might just be happy with this ranged barracks. Magnus is still alive, and they're aware of that, so is he going to put up a defense? He definitely could blink in a stun here. I feel like he's playing this a little bit too safe, but
yeah,
definitely understandable. Doesn't want to risk it. Probably going to lose the range axe anyways.
yeah, and that was really smart by Mickey, tossing Madman completely out of the fight. Without the support, Madman really had nothing to offer, even though he's such a powerful hero at this point in the game. I mean,
yeah, there was a lot of things that were very interesting in that team fight. Madman actually going for that Behemoth, but he's now picked up a Void Talisman, was able to outlive that Shrunken Head of Madman's. And you were right, by the way. He does pick up that Staff of the Master.
well, in this game, I wouldn't have expected, honestly, at the beginning. You know what I mean? But now where he's going as the carry, it's or I would have expected at the beginning, but now that he's supposed to be the hard carry, I would have expected him to go elsewhere. But
Yep.
I mean, you get the Brutalizer on him, he's still going to be hitting like a truck. I don't know what game it was we saw that, and where the Madman just took things over. I think it was Myth versus Complexity. Complexity got destroyed by a Madman.
Oh, did you hit that little lag?
I missed it.
My heart skipped a beat, but computer actually lagged a little bit. But yeah, so for Haxer, the next item here is most probably going to be that Symbol of Rage. The way they're going to use it is very similar to how you would use a Token of Life in these fights. If you looked at the last fight, he just barely survived the fight and was auto-attacking at the last bit of his HP, trying to survive with that lifesteal, but he wasn't able to do so. If he has that token, if he has that symbol, I really think he could symbol through a lot of the damage. Like, if the Madman's hitting him and he symbols and just mans up, I think he's going to win that trade by far.
Yeah, that could definitely be a point. One thing I'm looking at now, I mean, how important is the Moon Finale when you pick Moon Queen? I mean, do you really look at her and say, okay, well, one of the reasons we pick her is because it's an awesome ultimate?
I mean,
Or
it
is it just
definitely is in
strictly
the earlier stages of the game. You want to, if you want to use that Moon Queen to like scare the enemy team off from fighting, it's a big deal that you have that Moon Finale. But the way this game has been played, where they've been in constant control, it's just not been that significant of an ability. Right now, he's just going to use it as some additional magic damage amp in the team fights.
Well, one thing I'm getting at is they picked it after the Ophelia, and it feels like they've been fighting with creep waves around, and the Moon Finale is just constantly doing nothing.
So I haven't been keeping track of this, but the right way for them to do this is obviously they want to use the Behemoth to initiate, and then after the Behemoth has blown up most of the creeps and things, then they want to pop that Moon Finale so that it's focusing damage on the heroes.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a little more sense.
Yeah.
Because it does a nice chunk of damage in a team fight. I mean, that's, what is it, almost 3,000 damage?
Oh yeah, it does a lot of damage.
It is 3K, yeah.
Yeah. Iluna also going for a Void Talisman now. Pebbles has finished up that Demonic Breastplate. I love seeing a Pebbles when he's hitting this point. Now he's soon going to start becoming like a semi-carry himself. Slap sitting on 4,900 gold. I'm assuming that's going to be a Sheepstick, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine what else he'd be saving up this far for, and I think ultimately, now that Madman's becoming more and more dangerous, and once he has a Brutalizer, you know, he's the one that can kill Moon Queen, sheeping him, Hellflowering him, locking him down before he gets that ultimate activated is the best way to deal with him. Oh, so it's Hellflower.
All right.
But it's the same idea.
Similar concept. Hellflower lasts slightly longer.
Yeah,
So
I think it's better.
Yep. They're probably going to aim to use that on Formless in the fights. As top lane, Oscar's been setting up here in the trees for a little while. Haxer in those. Feels like something's not right. Just going to back off. And yeah, right now I feel like Sync's probably just going to wait for the next Concord. They're not in a hurry. Haxer has another slot. They feel like, all right, we got that Rax. We're slowing down Complexity's farming. Those creeps are giving significantly less gold. So, and Madman really doesn't deal much damage. If you look at his item build, he's gone for that staff. He's gone for that Shrunken Head. Neither of these items are outputting damage. So as soon as he decides to, you know what, I'm going to pick up a Savage Mace, you're going to notice a huge difference in his damage output in team fights. I wouldn't want to wait too long if I was
think
Sync.
he'll be grabbing a Brutalizer next, no?
So I hope not. I think you're probably right. But I feel like his job in this game is just sitting on that Moon Queen, and the Savage Mace is enough for him to be able to do so. And with that Savage, I feel like he can also take out any of the other heroes so quickly. He doesn't need that bash in this game.
All right. Well, we'll see. I mean, I would love both. Right.
I mean, me too, but at this point, when he doesn't have the resources and has to make a decision, obviously if they start pushing their base, he's probably going to just pick up the Brutalizer. Yeah. But otherwise, I would prefer to see him save up for the Savage Mace.
Well, it could be the safer play, too. Saving up for a Savage, you know, have money for buyback gold, too. So if you have to, if Sync decides to pressure.
So good little play from Oscar here in the top lane. He's going to actually skip a creep wave and make sure that the top lane gets pushed all the way back to the base. As Moon's going to use this illusion for siege. Interestingly enough, they're not waiting for this Kongor. Feeling like, all right, we don't want to give them more items than we have to. We just finished up a big chunk of our own items. If you look at the gold on their heroes, they basically have nothing all across the board.
Yeah.
Willing to just siege that base a little bit, trying to find some hero kills.
They're pretty much ready to go. I don't even know when Kongor is going to respawn. That little timer's gone for me now.
I think it died around 35 minutes, to be honest. Not entirely sure.
Sounds about right here. But yeah, I mean, this is typical. I mean, if you lose here, you're out. So I think no matter how confident they feel in their gold lead, they don't want to make a big mistake.
Yep. And right now, Magnus is actually using his Veiled Rot to make his way up top. Serenia, though, with this ward is going to spot out the remaining, like, they're going to see that Madman running around inside of that ward. Noticing that he's going to fall back, they're going to feel safe.
Puzzle Box instantly takes out Oscar's Ward of Sight up here in the top lane, too. So that's definitely unfortunate for Complexity here.
Yeah, and again, looking back at the word game, it's a bit surprising to me that Sync are not doing better in terms of vision. I feel like they should be dominating the map with vision right now, and it's really just these two wards. One up in the top lane, one in the middle lane, and Complexity is actually doing pretty fine with their own vision. Up against a Bound Eye, a Puzzle Box, and counter wards. This could be a concern for Sync. They need to find these wards. They need to make sure that they can lock Complexity into their base and keep on farming. Because right now, if you look at where the lanes are positioned, this is exactly how Sync wants the game to be.
Right.
And with those lane wards, it's much easier for them to see Complexity move out on the lanes. Oscar, though, again, doing a fantastic job of split pushing this top lane.
And he will. Has a TP ready. They are going to jump. Zlap has a chance to set him. Gets the Hellflower off. Following up. Yep, he's going to get punished here.
Yep. And this is a huge heal. Honestly, they could probably siege the base with this. Oscar has no buyback. He just bought that Storm Spirit, so...
Yep, the only Ward of Sight they have is the one around the bottom river for Kongor, which is a pretty important one, actually. Talking about how much dewarding they've been doing.
Yeah, and I mean, when you get a pick off like this, you know, the vision doesn't matter anymore. Now it's all about that high ground push. The way they need to siege his towers, I want them to keep Haxorn up in the front. Maybe even save that Geometer's Bane. Destroying some abilities. Nope, he's going to pop it right away. The Glyph is used. He should just reset back here. He's trying to deal damage to the backline heroes.
Yeah, the bounces are coming out. They're going to lose a Minotaur here. And it's just a byproduct of dealing with the Moon Queen. The barrel doing very minimal damage, maybe trying to bait out the Shrunken Head by Moon Queen, but Haxorn is unfaltered.
I really like this reset. These Vulture Lords are canceling their portal keys, and when they can't portal key in to save that Moon Queen, she's suddenly not that tanky. A lot of her tankiness comes from the team behind her, that they can stun out a lot of these heroes, that they can remove the damage from being outputted. And when their portal keys are being canceled, it's just not going to happen.
So such a cool use of the Vulture Lord here. I mean, it's almost I've never seen before, very rarely. Making lemonade out of lemons, right?
Yeah, and Kongor's going to respawn, so Sync actually also had the timing of that Spyglass being picked up by Madman. Is that a part in the Savage Mace? I don't believe so. Nope, it's not.
Just that true strike.
Magnus ulti.
Oh, Magnus is ultimate it up in there. He's going to get the Lava Surge off onto Pebbles. Pebbles is going to go down here. Kongor helping with the team fight there. Madman jumps up here. His ultimate activated here, putting in the auto attacks into Moon Queen, but she's evading a lot of these hats. He hasn't delivered the Spyglass yet. There's the Behemoth Shockwave, but Madman, as you can see, will come back to life from that Staff of the Master effect, but he can't find a target to hit. Just randomly stalking around and dropping barrel rolls in the bottom. Buyback on Big A coming to join in the fight, and Sync's going to be able to clean up here turn their attention right back to Kongor, and they clean up huge here.
Yeah, they're turning around to Kongor. Haxorn actually also bought back, so 2 buybacks here from Sync, both Mickey and Hax. I love this play from them. They were playing so balls to the wall in that team fight. Mickey not popping his Shrunken Head, realizing that, you know what, I am dead. I'm going to come back with my Shrunken Head fresh, just blink in and get that kill. Now they have Bananas as well as a Token of Life, and this is looking very good for Sync. 20,000 gold lead. Now the statistics are telling the story of the game. They're going to go for the second lane of Rax push. And Complexity, I don't know how they're going to hold on to this. They have a buyback on the Madman, but no Magmas for 25
They just buy back
seconds.
on Formless too here. Oh, Pebble's going to get a stun on Glacius here, not the biggest target, but they almost finish him off. The Storm Spirit going to keep him alive for the time being. 1 bounce from those auto attacks, though. Huge fit the Fissure is going to allow the Moon Queen to just open up. Madman coming in heavy on the Moon Queen, but look at the Symbol of Rage preventing her from going down, and now Mickey comes to join the fun, tries to get the toss back onto Parallax, but no. He will be sucking up that damage through the Shrunken Head. There go the Bananas. He gets the stun off onto Parallax just as it expires. Magnus comes in with a Lava Surge stun. And just like that, it looks like Sync's going to pull it away with this one. What can they do? That's
There's
it.
nothing
Sync
to do,
takes
and that's
game
like,
2.
sorry.
No, go on,
Yeah,
please.
this is like really very well played game by Sync. I feel like they played it very patiently, but they also learned from their mistakes in the last game and made sure that, you know what, this time we're going to put emphasis on finding those kills. We're going to make sure that we play, just don't make any mistakes, keep that Moon Queen farming, and I feel like it was kind of swapped roles, and this time they had the hard carry. So 2-0 for the hard carry so far in the series, I feel.
Wow, it's insane. You know, the hard carry, like you said, and you gotta look at Zlap too. Had such an impact compared to the last game with his jungle hero. Now, I don't know what happened with Complexity, man. It seemed like they were still in it just up until this last second here.
Yep.
We are going to take a look at some replays here in just a second. Hopefully get a look at that other fight that we were talking about earlier on.
Yeah, but I just want to take a second and talk about, so that last team fight, that was so explosive. Like, what just happened? I don't even remember anything. My head is just blank.
But the one at Kongor?
Yeah.
We're going to see it in a moment here.
Can you walk through it with me?
Yeah, we'll go through it.
So what's happening here? We see Parallax is actually diving in for that kill. Right, you talked about this, and you kind of felt like this was not worth it. This was a huge stun by Mickey. And in the background now, Madman was actually disabling the Behemoth.
Yep, that's exactly what happened there.
And it allows for those 3 heroes to reset back and get their spells off. Magma's now in the well regioning, and they're going to turn this one around, come and clean up this fight. Moon Queen staying in very, very far as the team is resetting back or dead.
Yeah, they finish off that. And I think Moon Queen does not get away here.
So she pops her moonbeams after she's died, and it's just not dealing enough damage to secure any hero kills.
Could have
at this
been the
point.
game. Here's another one where they had a nice jump onto the Moon Queen first, take out the token instantly, and then just, ton of damage coming out with the
But here,
ultimate
see,
there.
they're playing the objective gaming game, and I feel like they were doing this further into the game too. Like, even when they were pushing that middle racks later on in the game, they were making sure that we're getting the objectives. That's what we're coming here for, and that was a huge shockwave by Behemoth on the Parallax, combined with all those creeps.
Moon Queen did die, but she did a ton of damage before she went down.
Yeah, and Mickey blinking back in, securing that kill, and then I think they're going to actually clean up everything here. No, what you got, going to juke that stun, and eventually they did get the range racks too. And this was arguably one of the game-winning plays. He catches out the Magmus, who's done a great job of split pushing. Magmus had the portal key ready here. I was just waiting for him to blink into the trees and just wait, take it back to base, but playing it a bit greedy, staying in the lane.
Here's this big fight. So Pebbles is going to go down. The Fulcrum Shift going out here. Madman, he couldn't really find the Moon Queen, but once the Symbol Ridge came out, there was nothing he could do. He got Storm Spirited. There's the Behemoth Shockwave keeping him out. So they end up killing Moon Queen, but he instantly buys back here.
Yeah.
Madman just couldn't find a target here. And
No,
then his
indeed.
time ran out. But the buybacks by Mickey and Hax are in.
So I feel like the Staff of the Master on Madman definitely has a place in the competitive scene, but you kind of need to be ahead, I think, for that item to be really good, because you don't deal that much damage. And you noticed Haxorm was really on top of this. As soon as Madman hit him, he popped the Symbol of Rage and started manning up. And I like that play from him, that, you know, a lot of people like to drop down to like very low HP and then start using that symbol. He's like, no, I'm not going to allow myself to put myself in a position where I potentially could get stunned unexpectedly. I'm just going to use that symbol right away, make sure that I'm staying at 100% HP for as long as you're dealing damage to me.
Yeah. And all just like that, they're going to take it away and move this on to a game 3.
Yeah. So my predictions, Still standing true.
Yeah, you have been pretty much on point here so far, so we'll have to see if that holds up.
Let's go, Mecha.
That's right, you did pick Mecha as the #1 team here, but both teams got a lot to think about here going into Game 3, what they want to do. I think we're going to go to a short break here, but that game will be coming up very soon. Stay tuned, guys, for more Heroes of New coverage.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sand where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up. And all these